Good morning from the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee, you guys. This week, Matt and I are in Tennessee enjoying the beautiful Smoky Mountains. So, if you have never heard of the Smoky Mountains, it is this stunning area that's located right outside of Knoxville. It is one of our favorite vacation spots. We have a cabin up there that we manage and we always stay at, and we like to go once a year because it's such a fun place for us. This time around, though, we decided to take some of our families with us. So we took Matt's brother, David, and his girlfriend, and then our friend Laura also joins us on this trip. We had tons of fun, you guys. So the best part about the Smokies, apart from the nature, the food, the people, is also how cheap I am able to fly there. So we fly Allegiant there, and out of Austin, the flight only costs $40 one way. So that makes it really easy to take an impromptu trip. Our flight was pretty early in the morning, so as you can tell, my morning shorts are all dark. And once we got to the airport, remember I've mentioned this before where I'm one of those weird people that likes to get to the airport super early, even before my flight time, so I can have an overpriced taco, which is of course exactly what I did. Now this flight flies out of the South Terminal in Austin, which has this really cool retro 80s vibe, which I really like. You could actually walk onto the tarmac where there is this taco truck. And so we got some tacos, we got some coffee, and then we actually walked onto the tarmac to board our Allegiant plane. So in a weird way for seating this time, Matt got an aisle seat next to each other. So once we landed in Knoxville, they are so fun, and their airport has all this greenery and bears. And guys, we actually did see a bear while we were there. I'll talk all about it in a minute. But once we landed in Knoxville, we had to wait to get our luggage. Matt got our luggage super quick, but as you can see, the line to pick up the rental car was crazy long. I have no idea why. So I was gonna get a sexy car for this trip just to have some fun, but then realized with 5 people here, I better just be boring, so I got a sexy swagger minivan for myself. So once we landed, we actually had to wait on Matt's brother to get here, so we decided to swing by Buffalo Wild Wings. Now, I typically never go into a Buffalo Wild Wings, but I was like, hey, it sounds pretty good and we're in a rush. And guys, we were actually pretty impressed. Our meal cost less than $10 each and included a drink, and it was actually really tasty. One of my favorite hacks when I go out, especially to areas like Tennessee, is to always get these spicy buffalo wings. It reminds me kind of having a little bit of Indian food. It has that spice level, and that was really good. So then we got the family there as well. They landed right around 12 o'clock, and then off we went to the Smoky Mountains. It was a really fun drive up there. It's about 45 minutes from Knoxville Airport, and then we got to this beautiful cabin, you guys. Check it out. The beds were super comfortable. They have a nice spacious living room. There was a pool table, a foosball table, and then sort of like a partial view. Upstairs, they had a whole pool table, foos table, and air hockey as well, so all of that was super fun. Now, it was already around 3 p.m. by the time we got here, and you guys, I was in desperate need of some coffee. Now, I've mentioned before that I do have an espresso machine in all of the properties I manage because coffee times seem to be crazy, but this time around we actually went over to Black Rifle Coffee and got ourselves a coffee. It was really good, you guys. And then in the evening, we decided to hit up the strip in Gatlinburg. Now, Gatlinburg has an old sort of Germantown feel. I almost like to call it a Harry Potter themed kind of park, and there's just like a whimsical way with lots of little stores including cheese boards, the donut fair. I actually ended up going to this tea store and picked myself up some chai. I was feeling a little bit under the weather on this trip right after we landed, so this really helped. Once we got done with that, we saw that that was the cider company, so I knew we had to check it out. We went to go ahead and check out the cider company, and they actually told us there were free tasting, so we went ahead and started tasting. Once we were done with that, David really wanted some beef jerky. Now, I don't eat beef. I am just never been crazy about it, honestly. Oh, David actually got me some lamb jerky, which I tried, which was super good, but it was really fun to walk around in the jerky store, because they had lots of other cute options like jams and gelatin and all of that. So the next place we hit up was the Old Smoky Moonshine. Now, Tennessee is known for its excellent moonshine, so we went ahead and got ourselves a tasting. The tasting was $5 for a bunch of tasting, so all of us dropped our $20 for the 4 of us, and then off we went. They actually even gave us coupons for the $5, and we ended up buying 2 little coffee cups, so it was more or less a free tasting. Once we got done with that, we decided to get some dinner. We went over to Jason Aldean's place for dinner, got some mac and cheese, some chicken, and then a soft drink as well. So, since we were staying here for the entire week, we decided to pick up a few grocery items. We went to Publix, which we actually do not have here, and I picked up a few things for the groceries, including banana, some cheese spread, a little bit of salad, just the usual staple. And then, guys, as we walked out, we saw this stunning cloud formation. Look how pretty this looks. Once we got back to the cabin, I just knew I had to take a few videos of how beautiful it looks in the evening and how peaceful it is. And then the boys got up to the food table, and then they started playing pool as well. Day 2, we woke up and I was ready to get some breakfast. So Waffle House is one of my favorite places to eat breakfast at, and unfortunately I don't live to one close by. This was the perfect time to get one. I always like to order my hash browns extra crispy. I like to get some eggs sunny side up, and then I have to get the pecan waffle. And I usually like to add some tomatoes and onions to my hash browns, and then I have it with a little bit of Tabasco. Again, that gives me a little bit of the spiciness that I typically like. And then once we got back to the cabin, I did go ahead and make myself a little bit of an espresso and some hot tea. Then I got to work. I do work from home, and I had to go through a bunch of things. And once I got done with that, I just decided to make myself a super quick lunch. So I went ahead and made myself some mushroom soup and some Brazilian cheese spread. And I was actually super cozy upstairs in the game room by myself. I had a blanket to cover me up, and then I took a whole bunch of meetings. While I was at Waffle House, they upsold me on this chocolate mud pie, and it was really good, you guys. And then I went back to work. In the evening, the guys decided to order in some pizzas, so they got me a little veggie pizza. Even though I eat meat, veggie pizzas are like my favorite thing. I don't like meats on my pizzas. I know, it's weird, I know, but that's just the way I am. Day 3. We decided to stay in the cabin and just enjoy all of its amenities. Day 4. Again, this was a work day for both Matt and I, so we decided to go out and get some breakfast. We decided to check out the farm kitchen, and guys, if you are in the Smoky Mountains, you have got to check this place out. It was so good. We actually ended up going 2 or 3 times while we were there. Matt got what they like to call these hotcakes, which are like fluffy Japanese style pancakes, and I got a 3-cheese omelet with a biscuit and these roasted potatoes. It was incredibly good, you guys. And the waitress was so sweet. She saw me videoing all of this, and she asked me if I wanted a photo with Matt, which of course I did, and I'm really grateful she had that. Little service touches like that really make your experience so much more memorable. Once we got done with that, I really needed some espresso again, so off we went back to back Black Rifle coffee. I think I was at Black Rifle Coffee every single day, probably, of my Smokies trip. Once we got back to work. I honestly had so many meetings, I had no time to record. And then for my kind of afternoon snack, I decided to make myself a little coffee, and I mixed in some moonshine with it. David highly recommended it, and guys, I think he was onto something. It was really, really smooth. Once we got back from our daily meetings, we decided to head out to Margaritaville. This was our first Monday in the Smokies, so we decided to walk all around Margaritaville. There were escape rooms and just tons of stuff that we could do around the area. That was super fun. Now, when we were in Margaritaville, we of course had to taste some ciders. They had the whole cider tasting happening. And then I actually went to one of my favorite restaurants, which is Paula Deen's Family Kitchen. Now, typically I'm not crazy about Southern food. It's just not spicy enough for me, especially because I am from India and obviously talk a lot about that, and you guys know that. But this restaurant, for whatever reason, is so good, you guys. I love getting the butter biscuits, and then we got some fried okra as well. My fried okra actually reminds me of an Indian dish we make, and then we got some fried chicken, mac and cheese, cream corn. All of it was so good. The guys did end up getting ribs, I think, pork ribs. I don't really eat pork, so I have no idea, but it was really good. And then we decided to head over to the arcade and play a few games, and then we actually got tickets to the escape game. Now, if you guys haven't done an escape room before, this was one I've done it a bunch of times now with my husband, but it was our first time doing it in Smokies, and it was super fun. They let us record a lot of it. We were inside like this modern spaceship, and we had to rescue the spaceship before all of the power cut out, and we actually got out in record time, so super happy about that. Moving on to day 5. I actually woke up and decided to go meet a friend for a walk. She also has a few properties out here, so we decided to come out and chat with each other. And before I got there, I got some breakfast from McDonald's. I was surprised how busy it was. I forget that so many people go to McDonald's. It's just not part of my typical routine. And she brought her beautiful dog with her, so that was really fun. And then I ended up going to pick up the snookers basically for the air hockey table. And then by the time I got back, my husband texted me asking for coffee, so I went back again to Black Rifle. For lunch, I just made myself a quick cheesy mushroom ravioli, and then I got to work again. That evening, we actually went out to a Brazilian steakhouse, and you guys, I love lamb. It's absolutely one of my favorite things to eat. Every time I go to a Brazilian steakhouse, I straight up tell them I don't want anything else. Bring me all the lamb that you guys have and some cheesy bread. And once we did that, I really want to take my family to this ice cream place in the Smokies. These Ogle Brothers, I forgot exactly what the creamery was named, but remind me if you guys are interested, and I'll put in a link below. But they have their own kind of farm where they make the milk, they make the ice cream, and it's just a super cute store, and it's a beautiful area. So we spent that evening getting some ice cream while I sat on the swing and I had a fun time, whereas the boys went to play some games. That was really fun. And then we got home and everybody wanted to continue playing games, so we ended the evening playing pool, playing air hockey while I lay on the couch. Day 6, the Smokies, you guys. Super excited to be here, and we started off with breakfast at the farm kitchen. 5 Ogle Brothers is one of my favorite places to be. Ordering the cinnamon roll, and guys, it was absolutely huge. I've never seen a cinnamon roll this big, and I don't think we made it through 1/4 of it. It was absolutely delicious, just way too big for us. And then we went ahead and got ourselves pancakes as well, like the fluffy rice cakes. It was super good. This is the day my friend actually came into town, so I drove all the way out to Knoxville and to pick her up, and we went to this French crepe place. Look how good my crepe looks, you guys. It was super delicious. And then we got some French onion soup, some fries, and baguette with me. Everything was absolutely delicious. I got back and I needed some coffee, so I went over to Black Rifle and picked up a coffee. I had a few more meetings I had to do for my end of day, so I went ahead and took those. And since today was Friday, we decided to go out and explore the beautiful Smoky Mountains. And since everybody would be off on the weekend, this was a perfect time to start browsing. We ended up going to this distillery. We were walking around, and they had a sort of like a speakeasy bar, and the bartender was really nice, you guys. I absolutely love it when places have great service. So we ended up ordering a few drinks. The one thing I will say is he wouldn't give me extra cherries in my old fashioned, and I love extra cherries, because apparently they're soaked in moonshine and legally you can only serve a couple. Well, I appreciated that. I was also like, I really just want some extra cherries, bro. But it's all good. And then we ended up having dinner at this restaurant across the street. It was really fun. But you guys, the best part about this evening actually came afterwards. We went over to this Seasons hotel that we just were looking for, like a rooftop patio, cool ambiance sort of place. And we get up here and the coolest bachelor party is happening on the rooftop of this restaurant, you guys. These girls had dressed up as older women who were dancing around, and then of course Matt had to start singing as well. And guys, if I could literally talk about a memorable evening, this would 100% be it. We of course got photos by Dolly Parton's video. And then we woke up to this beautiful sunrise on Saturday morning, you guys. I cannot tell you how incredibly beautiful this entire area is. And we actually had an early start to our day. because guess what, guys? We are headed to Dollywood today. Now, I have been to Dollywood before on Christmas and it was really fun. This is my first time taking my family and my husband with us. We wanted to get breakfast at Waffle House because I've mentioned it before. It's one of my favorite places, but everything was really busy on Saturday morning, so we just ended up going to Dunkin' and then just grabbing a few little things because we wanted to be there right before Dollywood started. Now, just so you guys know a little bit of context about Dollywood and my husband. My husband is crazy about theme parks, and he always likes to be the first person in the rides and ride all of the roller coasters. I am the exact opposite. I'm a little bit scared of roller coasters, so I don't get on them. And my husband, of course, had a whole strategy plan for everybody. Once we got to Dollywood and we parked our car, we had to wait to get onto the train. And then once we got on the train, we actually had a really easy time getting into the park because we had bought our tickets online a few days ago, so you just kind of scan and they were right through. And there's Matt stretching before he gets onto his first ride of the day. My husband will literally go on any roller coaster, I'm pretty sure. So he was super excited, and I was glad his brother was here and his girlfriend because they all love to get on roller coasters, whereas I just like to walk around and see what all is out there. I did end up getting on one ride, you guys, and it was pretty scary in the beginning. It was just a boat ride, but apparently it's like the easiest ride out there, so I figured I owed myself a shot, and it was really fun, even though you can see here how scared I was, and I was pretty sure I was going to lose my phone this whole time. Once we got done with that, I saw there was a concession stand, so of course I had to get some popcorn for myself and a little drink while I waited for the guys to finish up. As we're walking around, we actually saw these little bears. I think, pretty sure this was the kids ride, but they let us ride on it, and it was really fun, you guys. I wish we could do more little games like this. And then the guys, of course, had to go on the tall spinny roller coaster that just kind of drops down all of a sudden. By this time it was lunchtime, so we're starving, so we just went to the closest place which was a pizza, and then the guys wanted to get right back on it. And then they actually had this super fun game where you pull yourself up and then you kind of compete with the person next to you, and this was really fun to watch. Especially, I think I would definitely do that ride, but I think I'd be way too scared if the thing just fell down. So maybe not, you guys. By the time I ate my pizza, the guys were hungry, so they wanted to get some hot dog and some chips. And this was actually a decent looking hot dog. Once we got done with that, they wanted to go on a few more rides, whereas I wanted to explore the park and then go to see some shows, because there were some shows included. And we did that. And by the time we were kind of looking around at all the shows and the music and everything that was going on, I realized one of my favorite rides is out here, which is the water ride that you do with Popeye. So before I get to do that, because I want to do that with the whole family, we actually ended up going on an all-authentic coal train that Dollywood has that runs through the whole park. The views and scenes in this are absolutely beautiful, you guys. I highly recommend it. Once we got done with the train and we're sitting around and just chatting with my girlfriend, these ducks decided to come by and peck at my feet, and of course I was like, ah! This was really fun. As we waited for the guys, we of course got a few more snacks. If you guys couldn't tell, I'm literally at the theme park just to get some cotton candy, popcorn, and drink while everybody else has fun. But we did end up going on the water ride finally, and that was really fun. And then my husband insisted I should ride one roller coaster with him, so we ended up doing that as well. All in all, it was a super fun day at Dollywood, you guys, but I was exhausted, and at the end of it, especially on a tiring day like this, all I ever want to do is eat some Indian food. So I decided to take my entire family to an Indian restaurant that is not mine in the Smoky Mountains. And I of course ordered some papad for everybody, and everybody kind of knew what they wanted, but I wanted them to experience Indian food that they hadn't tried before. So I ordered some of my favorite Indian foods, including gobi, which is cauliflower Manchurian. So it's like this little cauliflower dish that you can see out here. And here's David telling you how he feels about it.
This is the best cauliflower thing I've had.
And then of course I got some garlic naan, dal, rice, Hakka noodles, and biryani, and we had an awesome evening, you guys. Of course, late at night we wanted something to drink as well after our delicious Indian meal, so we went out to get some wine and cheese at Kroger, and then we put on the TV and enjoyed some fun times in our cabin. The day before we left in Smokies, we started off by having breakfast at the Wild Bear Inn. Now this place is one of my favorite pancakes in the Smokies, so of course I got coffee, mimosa, and some pancakes. Everybody else got different stuff. I got the Black Forest pancakes because an Indian style Black Forest cake is my absolutely favorite cake. My husband tries to get one for me every year for my birthday. And so we got one of those and I got some coffee. Now, after we got done with this, everybody else wanted to go hiking, and I am not crazy about hiking. It's just not my vibe. And so everybody else decided to go hiking while I decided to wait in the car and listen to some podcasts and chill out and just have some me time. Once they got back, we decided to head into Gatlinburg. And in Gatlinburg, we actually just parked the car and decided to start walking around. And by this time, I was a little munchy, so I got myself a little pretzel. I got some lemonade. And then as I was looking over, I saw that there was this Gatlinburg Sky Park. And I absolutely love going on these sky lifts, so I decided to take everybody up there with me. The view to get up there is absolutely beautiful, you guys. And I'll throw some footage in here so you guys can check it out. And then once we got up to the top, my husband insisted that we have a beer and a little bit of snacks. So we did that while enjoying stunning views of the Smoky Mountains, you guys. You have to check this out. It's just perfect weather, all of this greenery. And then there's this whole loop you can essentially walk around, including the glass bridge, which was absolutely terrifying to walk over, but super, super cool. And they also had this wooden hammock bridge that you can walk across. That was super fun. So once we got done with all of that, we decided to come back down and go to Sugarland's Distillery. But we didn't actually get a chance to sample everything out here because we wanted to take my friend Laura back to Paula Dean's kitchen in Pigeon Forge. So then we took her and we ordered the exact same thing we had ordered a few days ago because, as I've mentioned before, this is my absolute favorite. But this time we got dessert as well. This is our last day in the Smokies, and I'm definitely going to miss it. I look forward to coming here every single year. So the next day, we decided to get up early and drop off Mia at the airport. And then we were in Knoxville for the entire day, and this is my very first time in Knoxville. So since this was 7 a.m., we decided to stop by Waffle House. I've mentioned it before. Waffle House is one of my favorite places to have breakfast at. So we had breakfast out there, and then we decided to go out and explore Knoxville. We parked our car and then checked out this super cute local coffee shop, and look how beautiful the latte art here is, you guys. Did a really good job on it. And then we started walking around looking at bookstores, getting to know a little bit of the Knoxville area. I'd never walked around Knoxville before. And then we found this Tennessean hotel, and I knew, of course, I had to check it out. I love walking into hotel lobbies, seeing what kind of coffee shops they have, what they do different. And this hotel is absolutely stunning, you guys. I wasn't expecting to find such a nice hotel, just out of the, on a whim, basically. But we had lots of fun walking around, looking at the artwork, and the hospitality of this hotel was incredible. We walked out and there was a really nice golf cart, and then we started walking around the plaza. Of course, we had to walk barefoot because the weather was stunning, the lawn was green, and there were these fountains. Once we got done doing that, everyone started getting a little bit munchy. So we decided to go to Copita, which is a Mediterranean restaurant. And you guys, their food was so good. Everybody got shawarma and rice, but of course I have to be bougie and I ordered the lamb chops. And they were so good, you guys. And they brought me this little harissa sauce, which is a little bit spicy, but it was so good. And the fries were really good too. Everything here, highly recommend. Now we came to this time where we had like this odd period where like our flight was until the evening. We didn't quite know what to do, and we ended up walking into another hotel, and they had this Top Golf swing suite, which was like $10 and $20 an hour, but they basically had a couch so I could lay on it, and I really want to take a nap. So I took a nap while the guys decided to hang out here and play all of these games, and you can see me chilling over here. And then my husband really wanted to watch the soccer game, and he got to do that here as well. So that was super fun, and I noticed they had a little like Einstein's bagel place out here. I didn't have time for any bagels today, but I did get myself a really nice coffee and some water. Now once we're done with that, we decided to grab a super quick sushi before we headed back to the airport to fly back home. Now once we got into the flight, my husband surprised me with some Sour Patch Kids because he's a kid at heart, and all in, it was a beautiful trip of the Smokies. We had so much fun, you guys. If you guys are looking for another holiday trip, I highly recommend checking out the Smokies.